Bro, just leave her there.
Yeah, but you know what the deal is? They doing that.
They doing that.
He's only walking off because it's on camera.
Right.
So he don't want people to see. He don't want them. But if she was comfortable enough to say it, it's because he's already doing it.
Right.
Real life. It ain't real life.
It ain't real life. Just say real life street stars. Know what time it is.
If you could ask Cassie one question without no lawyers and nothing, what would you ask her? Why'd you tell him he is?
I think what I would, if I could ask her one question, I would, like, because obviously she didn't testify. She didn't testify directly to her bad experience being with me, right? So I think I would seek out clarity. In fact, was I part of your distress, right? Or was I the comfortable situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what I would want to believe, right? I would want to believe, this dude I was comfortable with. So I think I would ask if I would seek clarity on that.
Have any of the other men that were involved reached out to you and tried to like form some kind of like kinship over this trial? So
I know the guy, Rico. He was just recently on Camp Show. We work for the same company, we're cool. So I definitely spoke to him. Now he wasn't involved with, he was involved with Jane Doe.
Okay.
So
Jane Doe.
Yeah. So we're cool.
When you
right?
when you hear Jane Doe and she's giving her testimony, but he's still actively paying your rent and things of that nature, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, those are the parts of it that, like I said earlier, right? With when you see a situation like that, how do you create a space of no reasonable doubt?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're just being honest, and that's why I said it's gonna convolute almost any sexual accusation going forward, because it's the first thing most people are gonna go to is what's the financial gain? Right. And what was the financial motive? And it's hard to separate it, man.
If you could ask Diddy one question, what would you ask him?
Dude, what? Man, good question, man. Yeah, and I want to answer it for you. Look, I know me going on the stand, right, is I have to share the intimate details, right? And so there's a lot of jokes and the burqa and everybody's having fun around that, right? And so I couldn't avoid that. But still, I wanted to go on the stand, and if I'm gonna testify, I want to testify from a place of truth, accuracy, and what happened in a way where nobody feels like I'm being biased or against one or the other, whatever the case may be. And I think I would ask him, or I would find out from him if, based on me testifying, does he at least believe I was doing my duty opposed to being somebody that had a interest in the outcome of the case.
Now, as a man, when you invite another man into your space to lay with your woman, you feel like there might be a feeling of he's been shown that he's been inadequate in this area. Do you think you could talk to a man and lead him from making a decision like that? Do you feel like that's the wrong decision to make? Like, yeah, you might be failing in this area, but this is not the direction you want to move in.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that, man. Like, there's a whole chapter in the book, that's what I address,
Okay.
right? I address that. Like I call it turning a blind eye, right? Because so the way it was put to me is, the story I told you about my boys. Remember I said I was talking to the husband. The husband probably was in his 40s, in shape dude. So I asked him, I said, look, why? I need to ask you, why are you setting this up?
Right.
And he said that he had been with his wife a lot of years. Their sex fizzled out. And his thought process was, if I tell my woman, all right, go out and do you, right? She'll get her intimacy thing filled, but what if she meets a guy that's like, but I love you, leave him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
be with me, this, that, and the other. He said, now I put myself at risk because then it becomes more than sex. So the guy told me he felt he had to create the situation for her that he could control.
Damn.
So she'll get her rocks off, but he don't got to worry about the texting, the leave your husband, and now he's getting divorced, selling his house, and seeing his kids every other week. You know what I'm saying? So
Damn, that's a crazy place to be. That's
yeah.
deep.
So he said he did it because that, but I still believe if this guy had the capabilities, right, that wouldn't have been his choice. And so I'm looking at this guy, and he had money to just throw at me and my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can get the money together to solve my problem, get an implant, you know what I'm saying? Get whatever, like he could have did that. But he gave up. So I would say if you're not really built like that, there's dudes that's built like that. Like I do got a homeboy that comes to me like excited. Yo, I got 3 dudes bringing my girl out tonight. It's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna record it. Like he says this to me, like he enjoys it. So if you that dude, knock yourself out, right? But the dude that's doing it as like I need to save my relationship.
I asked that because it's like I watched the video, man. It was very the dude's wife. It was a dude on a podcast. He's just talking on the street, and he stopped this couple, and the wife was just like, "Hey, if you and some of your homeboys want to come up to my room," and the husband tried to grab her and walk off with her, but it was just like it was so painful to watch because it's like, bro, just leave her there.
Yeah, but you know what the deal is? They doing that.
They doing it.
He's only walking off because it's on camera.
Right.
So he don't want people to see. He don't want them. But if she was comfortable enough to say it, it's because he's already doing it.
Right.
No, is this okay? How often is this happening? Is this a normal thing, or are we just in the dark about it?
Now it's extra normal, man.
That's
like
crazy.
I told you, like I run a male strip club, right? So every weekend, bro, I get 3 or 4 couples. Every weekend. My phone rings constantly with guys calling, hey, do you take couples? It's not a small scale company. I'm in like 30 different cities. So I answer calls for a bunch of different cities, and it's mad guys calling to bring their girlfriends. And they're bringing their girlfriends because they want to recruit. It ain't about getting her a couple of dances. At the end of the night, they want to proposition somebody and make something happen. It's super normal now, man.
This sounds like $100 million operation. Are men really like? Should men be putting the drugs down and trying to figure out
should we just start slanging?
slanging a different type of drug, slanging that freezer meat? Like,
I mean, but so
okay, I put it to you differently.
nah.
You got a young boy off the street. He's like, Ray, I'm thinking about like really getting out here with these keys and this. Would you say this is a better way versus that? Is this a better opportunity?
I mean, absolutely not, right? Like the upside for this is, look, anybody who's slaying keys, right? They got a serious upside. It's a big risk, right?
For
but
sure.
you got a big upside, right?
Yeah.
The upside in this is just, you'll get some money, but it's more stories and a lifestyle than it is finance.
But the crazy thing about it is, these men will get all this money just to attract the same type of women
Yeah.
that you will probably, that you knocking off
No, they paying.
And they probably breaking you.
Yeah, but you ain't getting keys for the women. The women's a byproduct,
For sure.
right?
Yeah,
you
you're
getting
right.
the keys for the real come up. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for sure.
So would the end goal not to be to come up on a rich woman and just get taken out the game like the women do?
Yeah, but so you gotta understand the psychology of a woman, right? And every man's been in a relationship at least once where you let your woman get the upper hand.
For sure.
It's not good, bro. So I do have homeboys that they look up and they align with the rich woman, but then she start treating you like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a sustainable scenario.
I was gonna say, have you ever been taken out the game and had to come back after retirement?
So I never did that. I never did that. So I got a bunch of homeboys that they out the game, they out 2-3 years, and they always come back.
Bro, is that a walk of shame? Like, yeah, you back in here with us? Like, you should have just.
I give them credit. You had a good run. You know what I'm saying? You had a good run, right?
You should, because when women have to go back to the club, it's like, girl, how did you that up?
Because you know why? Because that's a woman's goal.
Right.
A woman's goal is, I'm just doing this and I want to meet that guy. Pretty Woman, like the movie, right?
For sure.
They want Pretty Woman, right? A guy is usually forced out the game. You don't want to lead a game. You don't want to lead a game.
I gotta retire. So what does relationships look like for you now?
Oh, man, dude, I'm just... So, you know, the years and the years and the years of the thought process, I do have issues believing in the typical commitment, monogamy type of thing. I haven't given up on it, but I gotta meet like a real special type of chick.
So I mean, you haven't just met you like a little stripper chick, and you just like we in the game.
Dude, for the most part, all I used to date was stripper chicks because I'm thinking, oh, she does it, I do it, like this would be perfect. But nah, dude, women are women. It don't matter what. It don't matter what they do, because they don't deal with stuff intellectually. It's emotional, right? It's their feelings. So when you understand it's their feelings, you think, yo, you a stripper too? What you know what I'm saying?
So you get getting that? You getting jealous? Are you jealous? That would be crazy. That's a crazy.
Yeah, man. You're gonna run into the same problems regardless. It's not about same occupations, similar things. It's your patience of navigating a woman's feelings. And that's her nature, right? It's not even a bad thing. It's just we struggle with a woman's nature. We just do.
What's the craziest thing you've seen in your 30 years of stripping?
Now this is a wild story.
Yeah,
right? This is the craziest thing I saw. And this is kind of going left, but the story's wild. Right? So back in the day, like the strip clubs, they had no rules, right? So we could dance, you could take everything off, you know what I'm saying? And you wouldn't really necessarily walk around naked, but you could flash, right? And I explained this, like there's a trick we do where you get an erection beforehand and you take like a cock ring and you tie it on the base and it traps the blood in. So you can walk around with your joint hard for like 30 minutes before it starts to hurt. So I had one dude specifically that, you know, to get the crowd to react, he would basically put a girl out on the floor on her back, and then real quick he'll slide her shirt up and he'll slide his joint under her bra, right? Like he's titty, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, right? And he had a piercing, right? Mm-hmm. So one time he lays the girl down, and it's not even at a club. This is at her bachelorette party, bro. Mm-hmm. He lays her down on the floor. This is all friends and families. Talk about a dude that can't assess the situation, right? He lays her on the floor, and then when he goes to do this quick move, like he's gonna slip her sweater up and slide his joint under, she fought, and his piercing got caught in her sweater. Oh, God. She yanked the piercing out, and it was like Kill Bill, like a blood thing. Blood squirted out of his joint all over her face, neck, whatever, at her bachelorette party, bro.
This boy, wow.
At her bachelorette party.
Cause why
at
are you
her
on the ground?
bachelorette
though?
party. Yo.
Why are you on the
Yeah.
ground, mama? Get your ass up.
So she just
How do you
came up
even
with
explain
just
it?
How do you explain it to her?
and people filming.
yeah.
like, dude, it was like a horror movie, bro. Covered in blood, neck, face, whatever. His blood out of his joint, like
That's
all
why.
over her.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing you ever
That-
I can't top that
on
one.
that-
Can't top that one.
On that note, Punisher, we want to thank you for coming, man. How do people, when people want to get in contact with you, or work with you, interview with you, coaching, book, how do they do all those things?
Oh man, well, so look, my Instagram is @getpunished. My book, my book, In Search of Freezer Meat, like really is a good, helpful read, man. I hope people support it. You can find that Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, on every single platform. Ebook, paperback, and audiobook. So I'm not a big reader, so I get the audiobook, put in thing, and yeah, man. Social media and the websites, getpunished.com, hunkomania.com.
Hey, man, Ray, we just want to thank you so much for coming to sit down with us. Hey, man, I want to see you go forward with this shit, man. You're very intelligent, bro. You have a lot. I feel like you have that you can offer versus all this good old Diddy shit. But hey, this is the best part. Punisher, you are a real life street star.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Keep punishing.